Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Wild Knights podcast.
Hosted by a Knights fan.
And a Wild fan.
And as always, recapping the weird, wacky, and wonderful things around the hockey world. And by God, there's a lot of it to unpack now as training camps have officially opened and the preseason is in full swing. And apparently, if you're not scoring 8 goals a night, you're doing something wrong. Isn't that right? This is Wild fan.
Apparently, Mr. Knights fan.
We didn't score 8. We haven't scored. I think we scored 8 goals total this preseason, but we didn't score 8 in one night.
Yeah, that's my point of Mr. Knights fan.
We're working on it.
We're finally back. We took a little break.
Yeah, there's this thing called school, and it's really hard. And we have to study. It's awful, and I hate it.
To be fair, if we actually had something that we didn't already cover happen, like, it would have been a lot easier to sit down and make a podcast.
And, they say you dress for the job you want, not the job you have. And I think my professors are getting tired of me showing up in sweatpants and a T-shirt.
Specifically, your Knights sweatpants and a Knights T-shirt and a Knights sweatshirt.
Hey, you got dressed to impress.
I don't think sweatpants are dressed to impress.
I don't know. I'm stuck between the rock and the hard place of job you want and actually being impressive, but whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, no, the preseason is in full swing.
Thank God.
I believe both the teams that we're going to talk about have played, as of last night, have played 3 preseason games. I know the Knights are 2-1, and I think the Wild are also 2-1, but I could be wrong.
I believe so. Because we played the Jets twice, right? And the Stars.
And that did not go well.
Which one?
The Jets, or the Stars one. That did not go well.
Yeah, but think about who we had, and the Stars put out like their entire...
Yeah.
Not their entire roster, but a decent amount of their roster.
Yeah.
And something's wrong when we put like 6 of our roster guys out there.
Yep.
And you absolutely crush Winnipeg in the second period.
Oh, my God. So I guess we could start. Do we want to start with the Wild, or do we want to start with the Knights?
At this point, we'll go right into the Wild.
Yippee,
I think that's probably what we need.
That was our adventure last night. We decided to, because we had nothing better to do last night, because studying gets boring after a while, and I can only stare at...
you were actually going to study yesterday.
I can only stare at evidence rules for so long before I want to, shove a textbook through my prefrontal cortex. But anyway, we decided...
Yeah, you are actually paying attention to stuff
anyway... So we decided to head down to XL Energy Center.
It's like a 5-minute drive.
Yeah, it's like a 5-minute drive. Pick up some last-minute tickets, which were like $11 a piece, to sit right on center ice, up on the second deck, some of the best seats that we could have, for what we expected to be a very normal Wild game. Now,
I wouldn't say we were expecting it to be normal. I think we were just expecting it to be
a game.
A game.
Now, I've seen some pretty wacky things in XL Energy Center. I've seen an empty net goal in overtime. I've seen 17 goals scored. This game goes on the list. This one goes on the list.
You were laughing last night. Like, how is it that every time we go...
All right. I am not,
by
any stretch of the imagination, I am not a diehard Wild fan, but I do understand when wacky hockey things happen. Just to illustrate the point, everybody else around me was wearing either Winnipeg Jets jerseys or Minnesota Wild jerseys. I walk in wearing a Fleury Golden Knights Adidas practice jersey.
Okay, yeah, but Fleury...
That was my savior.
You kind of get a little discount.
The double take of walking around in the stadium and having people see the front and be like, oh, and then see the back and go, hey. It was a really weird thing to watch and
compared
interact
to your
with.
usual. I wear my Knights jerseys regardless.
I'm passionate. What can I say?
I know. I try to get you to wear a Wild jersey,
Not
and you basically want to vomit.
I do want to vomit,
which is unfortunate because I have worn your Knights sweatshirt without an issue.
Well, yeah, because I'm trying to prove the point. You have called me a fan base traitor, and I'm trying to silence that notion. This is a joke that has persisted well before the inception of this podcast. This goes back to February.
No, like a year.
If not even September of last year. This joke
it's been almost a year.
This joke is going on a year old. Sue me. Okay? Sue me. I grew up.
To give you guys context, Ian did a little bit of team hopping at one point. Now, I will say he is from Texas. but he was never really a huge Stars fan.
No, I wasn't. I started as a Wild fan. And then I became a Texas Stars fan, not a Dallas Stars fan. I was a fan of their AHL affiliate because they played 10 minutes from where I played hockey as a Pee-wee and Bantam. And then I was a Blues fan after the 2014 Winter Olympics.
Honestly,
and TJ Oshie.
Honestly, though, 2014 Blues slaps.
That was fun.
Way differently.
I was a fan of the Blues back when they were running into the buzzsaw that was the early 2010s Blackhawks.
I was really upset because the Wild either ran into the Blues or the Blackhawks.
And then in that time frame, I was both a Blues fan and a Wild fan. And then one fateful week, actually, hold on, I have the ticket stub right here on my shelf for the first ever Knights game that I went to. It sits here in my shrine.
That's what that is.
On December 17th, 2017, I went to my first Knights game. And as they say, the rest is history. You didn't know what that was?
I knew it was a ticket. I just didn't know what from.
It's ironic because it was against the Florida Panthers. First ever game that I saw was against the team that we would beat to win the Stanley Cup.
That's funny.
Yeah, there's a reason that I held on to that ticket stub for 6 years.
Well, obviously.
I don't know. I didn't get to pick it. But anyway. And it wasn't even that game that made me a Knights fan. It was the second game that I went to. It was the game against the Tampa Bay Lightning, where they scored with 2.3 seconds left to go and projected me into the single loudest stadium experience of my entire godforsaken life.
So needless to say, Ian gets really touchy when I say that he hops
Thank
teams.
you. What did you want? They became a thing in October, and I became a fan in December. What more do you want from me?
You're barely connected to Vegas, bro. Okay, sure.
I quit.
Sure, throw your mic down.
I quit.
Hey, I can do this podcast all by myself. There's the door if you want to walk out.
All right, bye.
I'm going to call you on your bluff right now.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm
okay,
good.
okay.
Anyway.
You done over there with your tantrum?
Anyway, we've gone off on a major tangent.
I mean, it is context, though, for me giving you constant shit.
And why I refuse to wear a Wild jersey.
He won't even wear a Flurry jersey yet. He wears a practice jersey
It was a practice Flurry jersey.
Yeah, but
it's halfway there. You got to admit, that was a big step for me.
Guys, he put on my jersey one time and said, I can't do this, and went into his closet and changed immediately.
It gave me anxiety. I don't know why. I wore the black one. I wore the reverse retro.
We weren't
it was
even
cool.
playing the Knights.
Doesn't matter. You guys were playing the Coyotes. They were in the division.
Okay, and?
Or they're in the conference. They weren't in the division. Sorry. It was also February/March of a playoff race.
I don't have anything to say to you. So we're just going to get into preseason now.
So we get to the game. Mm-hmm. All that happens. The usual song and dance, walking down. And we sit down, and it's a really boring game. First period.
Yeah, it was 1-1 after 1.
And for those of you who don't chronically watch the preseason, what do you think the score was after the second period? I'm going to give you a second to think about that. Don't check your phones.
To give you context, usually it's somewhere like 2-2, 3-2, something like that. 1-5. Well, not 1-5. 1-5 is actually.
That would be that'd be 5 goals in the second period. Mm-hmm. The second period ended 8-2.
Yes, it did.
8. The Wild scored 2 shorthanded goals in the second period.
That was amazing.
They scored 2 power play goals in the second period.
Yes.
They scored arguably the stupidest goal I have ever seen in person in my entire life.
What, when it bounced off the wall?
It bounced off the Polaris logo in the left corner of the offensive zone.
Ricocheted off. Went right past the
behind
goalie.
It, but went...
Well, like right behind him in the crease. And someone was right there to put it in.
And...
Hey, backdoor. You got to watch that backdoor, man.
Yes. That's exactly. I'm pretty sure it was Faber out on the point. Was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bank it off the P in Polaris, and it's going to kick right into the middle of this slot, and Hartman's going to be there for a wide open tap in.
I mean, to be fair, Hartman was just where he needed to be and where he should have been in the first place.
The thing that blew my mind about this game is I know for a fact there was 2 Vezina trophies on the ice. One in net for Minnesota, one in net for Winnipeg. Those 2 Vezina winning goalies gave up a combined 13 goals last night. Hellebuyck gave up all 8.
Fleury was looking hot, man.
And then the third period. And then we left.
Well, okay. To be fair, though, the third period, when you're up by 8-2...
It doesn't really matter.
You're not going to play your all, especially in the preseason. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, you said it yourself. They were trying out different things during like power plays.
Yeah.
Because this is the time to try things. Preseason's the time to try stuff. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. No harm, no foul.
Yeah, true.
So, I mean, I think Fleury was looking really good last night. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, he actually was. He looked shockingly good.
Also, to those of you who decide that you're going to talk about Fleury's hips in the middle of a game.
Oh my God. No.
So we were sitting in our seats, and people behind us, which were obviously Winnipeg fans, were talking about Fleury's hips and how much he must have like such bad hips.
Fleury's never had hip problems in his career.
Like he must be like they were talking and doing like all this speculation about his hips and how he has bad hips and I literally turned to Ian and I texted him something along the lines of, you think that people would be in the NHL would have people that would help them, stretch out and take care of issues.
Dude.
And by this point, he's been in goal for how many years?
Forever.
He's been in goal for a while. He knows how to take care of himself.
19,
he knows what he needs to do to stretch.
Like,
he knows what he needs to do.
It's been like 19 years now or something crazy.
I would believe that.
But Fleury looked really good, which is great. The Wild top line looked okay, but I'm not really a Wild fan, so I don't know any better.
I mean, again, we had 6 players on our usual roster out on the ice.
6 or 7, yeah.
Yeah.
If you factor in like Faber and Trennan and because it was Faber, Trennan, Kaprizov, Hartman, Ek, Zuccarello. I think that was it. Yeah, I think that was it.
Technically 22.
Oh, Kusnedinov.
Thank you. I can never pronounce his name.
Shame on you.
I've heard it twice. I know
Shame
the
on
second
you.
part is Dinov. I don't know.
He's new, so don't worry about it.
I
You could have
realize.
got his autograph at the state fair.
Yeah.
You could have got his autograph.
The one day we go.
And it's Kusnedinov and
Someone else.
Someone else.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was one of the bigger name people.
it was also Mason Shaw's return to XL Energy Center.
Yeah, that was weird. But going back to the state fair thing, it's the one day where they moved up the autograph signing and it still got rained out, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah, because we were there when hell rolled through.
But anyways,
Anyway.
no, looking at the Wild for the preseason, I would say that they're doing pretty good. Granted, it is very difficult sometimes to judge the teams on the preseason.
Well, the Rangers went 1-5 last year in the preseason and won the President's Trophy.
Well, but what I'm trying to get at, though, is that preseason is the time to try things. Preseason is the time to test out people. It doesn't matter. It's basically getting everything. It's getting back into the swing of things, right?
Correct.
So I hate to speculate based on preseason games, but if the Wild can keep up the momentum, granted, half of the people won't probably even see the Wild bench this year.
Yeah.
Let alone play in the NHL bracket. But I think that it kind of gives me hope for the future about what our team can possibly be if we can actually be competitive against half of Winnipeg's team.
I mean, you guys absolutely laid it down on a couple of Winnipeg starters and their Vezina Trophy winning goalie.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think that the goalie would be able to do stuff, but he just looked disinterested.
He didn't look like he was on his game. Now, I can't say if that's because he had shit defenders.
He just didn't look like he wanted to be there.
Or if he just wasn't in, his head wasn't in the game. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention too much to him because, you follow the puck.
True.
You're not necessarily watching the opposite team's goalie when you're shooting. You're watching the shooter.
True. So the Wild are 3 games into the preseason now.
Yeah.
And you have gotten a statistically significant sample from each of the 3 goalies. I believe Jesper Wallstedt played the first game in Winnipeg.
He did.
Gus got, for lack of a better phrase, his shit ran by the Stars at home. And then Fleury just kind of sat back and watched the ass kicking that was last night. How you feeling? How you feeling about this 3 goalie system? Is Wallstedt going to make starts in the NHL this year? Or is it just going to be one of those things where he's just kind of there if there's an injury?
He made starts last year. I think he's going to be called up at some point, whether that be for an injury, whether that be to give people time off, whether that be, God forbid, we trade away one of our goalies.
Yeah.
Because we talked about this a couple episodes ago. There was speculation about the whole, what do you do with 3 goaltenders in Minnesota?
You send one of them up the river.
Which is going to make me very, very sad. I love my goalies. I'm sorry. Don't look at me like that because I know what you're going to say. I have my issues with Fleury. I do. But I will still be sad when he goes, okay?
It is going to be weird after this season if Fleury does hang up the skates. It'll be the first season of almost my entire life in which Fleury is not an active participant in the NHL. I still have a conspiracy theory if he wins 25, 30 games this year, he just hops around signing 1-year deals for like the next 4 years as a backup and tries to slowly claw towards Marty Berdeur's record. Because
we'll see what happens.
He's not really within touching distance, but he's probably the last goalie that will ever get this many wins. Just in the increase in injuries and the fact that there's a lot more load management going on among goalies in the league. I don't think anybody's going to get to his second place all time. But, I don't know. Because he played, 1,000 games now or something? Yeah, I think he played his 1,000th game or something recently.
I know that he has over 555 wins.
I know he passed the record at the tail end of last season. I remember there was 2 milestones back-to-back for him. I can't remember if it was his 1,000th game or something. But he's going to be the last of the workhorse goalies. Because goalies don't make it this long in the league anymore.
I think we'll see, obviously, right? Because you say that now, but
we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Also, Fleury started with the Pittsburgh Penguins in October of 2003.
Yep, I was 2. I was 2.
Actually, you were 1.
Yeah, I was about. No, I was 2.
No, you were 2.
I was 2 when Fleury made his debut. I'm now 23. So yeah.
So you spent your entire hockey watching career.
Yeah, the first series that I remember watching is the 2008 Stanley Cup Final, which is Penguins Red Wings.
So you remember the stuff I can never.
Was it 08 or was it 09?
No.
No. The thing is, the Red Wings and the Penguins played each other in the Cup Final 2 years in a row, and I can't remember which of those two the Red Wings won and the Penguins won, because I know the Fleury made what was at one point the most famous save in Cup Finals history. With 3 seconds to go in a clinching game. Mm-hmm. Those saves have since been replaced by Braden Holtby in game 2 of the 2018 Cup Final and Aiden Hill in game 1 of the 2023 Cup Final. But yeah.
So I wanted to go back real quick to the whole goalie conversation, specifically Minnesota, before we got on the Fleury tangent.
Well, he's part of this.
No, I know, but specifically Gus.
Yeah.
I feel like you think he did not look good the other night.
Well, he let up a lot of goals against the Stars.
Do you want to know how many shots he took?
20-something?
40.
Whoa.
Yeah, we only had 25.
Never mind. I dropped my judgment. That is entirely too many shots.
I know. I was looking at shots on goal real quick.
In the preseason, it doesn't matter.
Winnipeg had 40. But also Winnipeg versus Stars, who's, the higher caliber team. I hate to say it. The Stars are. We all know that.
Well, they have Matt Dumba on their top pair. I don't think it's fair to call them a high caliber team anymore.
Yeah, but compared to the Jets?
I'm going to
compared to the Jets?
Yeah, true. I'm going to appeal to you. I'm going to appeal to you as a Wild fan because I do not know, because I didn't experience it for years on end. Who would you rather have? Ryan Suter or Matt Dumba?
Suter. All the way.
The Stars are paying Suter to play against them now.
Here's the thing with Dumba. I've never really liked his play style.
True.
I've never really liked him as a player. Now, I'm not saying that he took unnecessary penalties. I think at one point he did, but he cleaned up his act, which I appreciate.
True.
But I never really, everyone's like, oh, he's such a good player. Oh, he's so valuable. And it's like, I don't get the hype.
I mean, he did at one point get shipped off. I mean, remember in the expansion draft, you guys thought he was all that in a bag of chips. And so you protected him over Eric Holla.
I know, I miss him.
I know.
I wish we would have. I wish that would have flipped.
In hindsight, that absolutely should have flipped.
Oh, we all knew it.
With the better,
all Wild fans were screaming so loud.
Just remember,
at management.
I will give you this. You guys only screwed up the 5th worst of anyone in the expansion draft.
Oh yeah, we're 5th from the bottom. That makes me feel real good.
Well, there were teams that didn't do. There were teams that didn't have anything to offer. That's why.
To be fair, though,
the team that got it the worst was the Panthers.
We had Parisi and Suter at that point.
Yeah, it was a different time. You guys didn't need forwards. You had Nina Ryder, you had Fiala, you had...
we didn't have Fiala yet, I don't think.
Yeah, you did.
No, we didn't.
I'm pretty sure you had him in 2017. I don't know. You guys had a very good decor. I think Stahl was still in Minnesota at that time.
Stahl was definitely still in Minnesota.
Like, the decor, or the offensive core was not the problem. And you had Dubnyk in that.
You're right. Wait, you said 2018?
2017.
Yeah, this was 2019 is when he joined the Wild. So I'm like, we did not have Fiala then, I promise you.
Nah.
Because I can guarantee it. Because 2015 to 2016, I actually still watched the Wild.
Did Mikko Koivu retire yet?
Yes.
I think he had just retired, like, very recently in 2017.
In the last couple years.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No, 2017, he was still playing.
Then that's who you had.
Because what happened was they shipped Koivu off, I believe, to the Blues.
And he never played.
And he played, like, maybe 10 games.
Yeah,
and then he came back to Minnesota. Basically, what happened was he then announced his retirement, came back to Minnesota,
contracts.
and then retired his number.
Yeah, that's about right.
So,
yeah, no. But I don't know what you guys are going to do with your goalie system. I think they're going to rotate out. I think Wallsted's going to spend most of the year in the AHL in Iowa.
I think we'll see him come up next year, especially if Fleury exits at the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm still on the bus that he might get traded.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think the Wild have a lot of money wrapped up into his advertising and into his merchandising. And Minnesota loves Fleury. I don't understand how it happened. Like, I do, but I don't.
He's just a fun dude.
Minnesota loves Fleury, and I don't think that Bill Guerin will do that dirty. I don't think he will.
No, he's not Kelly McCrimmon. Everybody else understands that joke.
Anyways.
See, I can make fun of my own team.
I never said you couldn't.
I know. I'm very good at this.
Yeah, I'm really sad that Boldy's already hurt.
Dude, that's rough. Because he's supposed to be like, this is supposed to be his year. And
after last year,
he's immediately like in a wheelchair to start the year.
Is he?
Nah, I don't know.
I'm like, I don't think he is. Don't say that. Don't spread
I'm upping
lies.
the theatrics. I actively spread misinformation.
Don't spread misinformation and lies about my team, okay?
Okay, fine.
You can do that about the Kings.
We'll
Not
get
the
to,
Wild.
We'll get to them. We'll get to them. We will get to them.
Yeah, I think we had this conversation like a couple days ago, and I said we need to circle back to this. As for the Wild, when it comes to playoff spots,
Yep.
I have a bold prediction.
Oh, dear God.
I think they're going to get to round 2 this year.
No.
I don't think they're going to get past round 2.
Well, yeah.
I think they're going to get to round 2 this year, though. And I think next year they're going to go past round 2.
Who would be their ideal matchup in the first round to do that? Because let's think of the Central Division. So if we're going to put Minnesota in there,
Yeah.
in one of the spots, do we want to assume that the Central is going to take 5 teams or 4?
Let's do 4.
Okay, because that's probably how it's going to go.
Yeah. Let's just do 4.
Let's put Minnesota in there somewhere.
Yep.
We have to put Dallas in there somewhere because they've been in the Western Conference Final 2 years in a row. So they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
You have to put the Avalanche in there.
Yeah.
Because they're the Avalanche.
Yep.
And I don't want to say you have to put the Predators in there.
It's either Preds or Winnipeg. It's got to be
After
one
what
of
I
those
saw
teams.
last night, I would be amazed if the Jets aren't a lottery team this year.
Okay.
No, they'll probably.
I mean, to be fair, again, preseason, you don't know.
No, that's true.
Like, you don't know how their players are doing who weren't on the ice.
No, that's totally true. No, it'll probably be Dallas, Winnipeg, Colorado, Minnesota, and that Winnipeg one may be flip-flopping with Nashville. Mm-hmm. Granted, they haven't looked very good this preseason either, but that's
honestly,
okay.
our best bet if we were to go up against someone,
Colorado.
it's either going to be Colorado or Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Those are going to be our best options. However, we could see interesting things happen this year. So
Yeah, this is going to be a weird year for the Wild.
I mean, look at people with baseball. They said the Twins were an underdog and a dark horse favorite, and they can't even win a fucking game right now. So they're out. They're out. I mean,
Do you know why things got so bad for the Twins, by the way? I just figured it out.
what?
You remember how good a season they had last year?
Yes.
Put yourselves in the shoes of the Twins owner.
Uh-huh.
Your team just came off its best season in decades.
Yep.
First playoff series win since Moneyball.
Yep.
2004.
Yep.
What do you do? What is your next move going into the next season to respond to that? You're already everybody's sexy dark horse pick to make it to the World Series, or at least make it to the ALCS.
I don't know. What do you do?
I can tell you what he actually did.
What did he actually do?
He cut the payroll by $35 million.
Bro.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
That's why the Twins had no money to get pitchers whenever their pitchers got hurt, and they had no money to get depth at the trade deadline. And that's why, want to something crazy? For 2/3 of the season, for 100 games, Twins had the best record in baseball. Best record in baseball. They went 60, I think they were 63-42 for the middle 105 games.
That really makes me mad because you see a team being successful and you're like, yeah, we can do it. We can do it. We can do it with this amount of money.
They were 60.
No, we can't.
They were 63-42 from the months of from June until the end of August.
The thing is that when you do something like that, when you cut that $35 million, what happens is that you need to be planning to cut that in advance, and you need to plan it around.
You want to know what
you
want to know what they blamed it on? Xfinity and Bally Sports not coming to an agreement for regional sports network broadcasting.
I mean, I get it, but also at the same time, grow the fuck up.
Dude, no kidding.
Anyways,
they do all that.
This is not a baseball podcast.
13-25 since being the best team in baseball.
Anyways,
we
are not a baseball podcast. We are a hockey podcast.
We have used it to highlight the point. We've used it to highlight the point.
So coming back to the point, though.
Yes.
I think we're just going to have to see and revisit this conversation.
So the
in
hot take,
about 30 games.
The hot take is that the Wild are going to not only make the playoffs, but win the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the confidence.
Well, okay, think about it.
Well,
granted, we don't have the money for an outstanding core.
No, but you do have Kirill Kaprizov.
I'm good. I swear to God. I'm going to throw something at you.
This one was genuine. This one was genuine. You do have Kirill Kaprizov.
The thing is that I'm just not impressed with him. Because, okay, before people come for me, let me explain.
Let her cook. Let her cook, chat. Let her cook.
So the reason why I think he is overhyped is because he delivers.
Sometimes.
No, he delivers pretty consistently. He delivers assists and he delivers goals. But his hustle for the puck, what the fuck?
He also delivers selling spearing penalties and getting our best players kicked out of games. I'm still pissed about that. We won the game, but I'm still mad about it.
Do you want to recap that for everyone that doesn't remember? So basically, Eichel gets down in the game.
Here we go. We're talking about this now. So I waited the whole goddamn year to see the Knights play in Minnesota. Yes. I had to wait until the end of March.
Yep.
The worst possible time to see a road game.
Yep.
Because we were in a dogfight for 8th place.
Don't
in the
forget
Western
the
Conference.
really, really annoying Knights fans are sitting 2 rows ahead of us, even annoying you.
Think about how insufferable I am on this podcast. Multiply that by about 15, and that's about where I was at the end of March because my team was fucking free falling at that point.
Yeah, you think he's bad at midterms?
Oh, God. So we get to the game.
Yep.
Game is not going well.
No.
Game is not going well. It is 0-0.
Yep.
And I believe Kaprizov is...
I think it was actually 1-1.
No, it was 0-0.
Okay.
The game went into overtime at 1-1.
Okay.
So it's 0-0.
I thought it was third period, though, when this happened. But
second period.
No, it was third. Okay, anyways, I'm going to fact check you on that.
So Kaprizov is skating out of the defensive zone over the blue line, and he's being bodied up by Jack motherfucking Eichel. You know, our heart and soul at this point, because Stone, his spleen had been in multiple pieces. He was our leader at that point. Kaprizov skates into Eichel's stick, which he is holding parallel to the ice, and draws a 5-minute major for spearing.
And gets ejected from the game.
No, he didn't get ejected. It wasn't a game misconduct.
Okay.
We got lucky. It wasn't a game misconduct.
No, it was a 5-minute major and a game misconduct for spearing.
He got kicked?
Yeah.
Fuck! I forgot about that. Yeah, he did.
Because I remember because you were
Dude,
absolutely fuming.
I was beside myself.
You were absolutely fuming.
It's okay. It's okay. You want to know why it's okay? Because we won the game.
Okay, but when you won that game, no one in the stadium cheered.
Again, I say this every time I walk into XL Energy Center. I see something I've never seen before. 17 goals, an empty net goal in overtime, and Hellebuck giving up 8. That recaps 3 of my last 5 trips into XL Energy Center. And one of those trips wasn't even to see a hockey game. One of those trips was for the newly named Minnesota Frost's championship parade.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't a parade, but yeah.
What wound up being the parade because the weather was really crappy that day.
That's fair.
But anyway, so your hot take is the Wild are going to do more than what is expected of them.
And you're right. It was the second period.
I'm really good at this.
I thought it was like 10 minutes left in the game.
No, it was at the tail end of the second.
No, I remember it was the tail
carried
end.
over. Yeah.
Anyways.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Obviously you've got confidence.
I just think that if you look at the people we have and if we can get like 2 to 3 players to re-energize and if we can like keep Spurgeon healthy, like obviously
That's
this is
a big
contingent.
if.
This is contingent on the fact that like we have a healthy team.
Yeah.
Because unhealthy teams
Tend to not do well.
tend to take a dive really quickly and it's hard to recover.
I know how that goes.
Yes, you do.
All too well.
So
You guys also have the really difficult task of being the first team to play the Blue Jackets in the regular season.
I really want to go to that game and I just want to see what they do.
I don't want to go to that game.
Why? Because you think it's going to be sad?
It's going to be really sad.
I don't think it's going to be sad. I think it's going to be a nice tribute.
It will be. What's going to be really, really, really sad? Blue Jackets were set to host the Stadium Series this year.
Oh.
They were going to play a game at the Horseshoe at Ohio State. It's going to be like the 3rd highest attended NHL game in history.
And now it's not.
Yeah, now it's not. Good move, though. I've seen a lot of really good tributes on that, and we're going to use this as a quick interlude as we change gears from Minnesota to Vegas hockey.
Yeah, no, Calgary literally.
They did good.
They posted something on their Instagram.
They'd like itemize what they're going to do with all the donations and stuff from
like
the vigil. It's really cool.
They're making like hockey stick benches and like donating that to various things.
And EA Sports for NHL 25, they can't make him the cover athlete. There was a conversation about switching the cover athletes around. They're keeping him in the game, though. They're going to keep him in. And I think there's a rumor that they're going to move him to the legacy team for NHL 26. You know, the team with like Gretzky, Lemieux, Bobby Orr, Marty Brodeur, all the greats of hockey. There's a rumor they're going to move him to the legacy team.
That's cool.
For 26.
I really enjoy that. You know what would be really great?
What?
Is if they also put Matthew on the legacy team.
I don't think they will, but
they should.
They may do something like that. I don't know. EA, I have issues with EA as a game dev company and the fact that NHL 25 is the same as 24, which was the same as 23, which was the same as 22.
Anyways, we're not going down this rabbit hole.
But they could do it. They could do some really cool stuff. And as sad as it is, it's good to see that there's at least some things coming out of this.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So what's your bold take on your team this year?
We're going all the way. We're going all the way.
You're not going to make it past round 4?
We're going all the way.
Wait, round 4 is the
We're
end.
going all the way.
You're not going to make it past round 3.
Want to know what happened the last time we had a long summer? Last time we had a summer this long, we won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, it's not going to happen again, babe.
It could.
I think you guys are going to make a good showing.
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
I think you guys are going to make a good showing, but I also think that
Pacific is so good. They're so good. This division's so fucking good, and I hate it.
I thought you said that they were bad.
Okay.
Which one is it? Are they good or are they bad?
Let me clarify my position on what I think the Pacific Division is.
Okay.
And I'm going to exclude talking about the LA Kings because we have to talk about them in the context of what happened in a preseason game on Wednesday. Because they had a monkey wrench thrown in their season on Wednesday night. But we'll get to it.
Yep.
Because honestly, the Kings aren't really a big factor in the Pacific. They're like 4th place.
Well, here's the thing. They're hot and then they're not.
They're the Kings.
They're basically your guys' Preds.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna let's do a rundown of the Pacific.
Yep.
San Jose.
Yep.
No. Anaheim. No.
I think they'll have rebuilding years, but I don't think they're going to go to the top.
Seattle. No.
Nah.
They've got Chandler Stevenson now, but I don't think that's going to fix their problem.
Seattle has never found a way to make everything click.
I mean, they got to the second round 2 years ago, which was good.
But again, they've never found a way to make everything click.
So I don't think they're ready to make a playoff run yet.
Give them a year or two. I think they'll be a competitor.
I'll give them a little bit.
Let them cook.
Calgary. No. No goalie. Huberdeau was a bust. That was a waste of a trade with Florida. They've got two of their starting defensemen were in the Golden Knights AHL system last year.
Really?
Daniil Miramanov, my personal favorite defenseman, who I'm really sad we got rid of, but we won the trade because Noah Hannafin's a fucking baller. And Braden Pahal, former captain of the Silver Knights. They're probably going to be line mates, pair partners in Calgary this year. They were both Pahal claimed on waivers, Miramanov as the part of the Hannafin trade. So that's part of theirs, but they have no goalie. Like, I think Dustin Wolf is their starting goalie now. And
who?
Exactly. I think it's Wolf and Dan Vladar.
Yeah, Calgary a few years ago was
really good,
a contender, and I feel like they just couldn't get it together.
Johnny Gaudreau, Matthew Tkachuk, that era of Calgary when the 1 year the Knights didn't make the playoffs, they were a really good team. I think it was Lindholm, Tkachuk, Gaudreau was a line. They all had 100 points or something. It was just nuts.
Yeah.
So, quick recap. Anaheim, no. San Jose, no. Seattle, no. Calgary, no. That's half the Pacific Division. Vegas? We'll see where they wind up. Edmonton's going to win the division. That is a foregone conclusion. Not because they're good, but because they have McJesus and Draisaitl. That's why they will win the division. They will win the division for the same reason the Kansas City Chiefs are 3-0 right now.
Kelsey and Mahomes.
And Taylor Swift.
Well, fair. Anyways.
Yeah, the Oilers are the NHL's equivalent of the Kansas City Chiefs. They can do no wrong. And they're going to engage in a little bit of cap circumvention by stashing Evander Kane on LTIR.
Anyways,
but
we're not talking about the Oilers.
No. So they're going to make the playoffs for sure. The Canucks are also going to make the playoffs for sure.
They're not going to get very far, though.
Unless they continue to have this pesky little problem with Thatcher Demko, as their starting goalie is going to miss the start of the year and a good bit of time with knee issues.
Sad.
That brings us to the LA Kings. And this brings me really well into a conversation about the Golden Knights' second preseason game. So the Knights opened their preseason schedule at SAP Center in San Jose and made quick work of the Sharks, as we have done for God knows how many years in a row now.
That makes you really happy, doesn't it?
We gave up 2 power play goals to the new anointed one, Macklin Celebrini, reigning first overall pick. So that's fine. But we were using our AHL goalie tandem. Akira Schmid, who we got in the Logan Thompson trade, played the first half of the game, pitched a shutout.
Nice.
And then Isaiah Seville came in and didn't play as good, but he's the backup for a reason. And he will probably be splitting time between Henderson in the AHL and Lake Tahoe in the ECHL, as Jesper Vikman and Carl Lindbaum are both really good goalies. We have so many good goalies in our system. It's nuts.
Anyways.
So then we fast forward to the second game of the preseason, the only preseason game the Knights have lost to this point. And coming into town, into T-Mobile Arena, is the LA Kings. And the reason I said we had to talk about the LA Kings in a bubble real quick is because they just lost their veteran defenseman for at least a month, if not 2, as Drew Doughty fell awkwardly into the boards and broke his ankle.
How is it that every preseason someone manages to just
this one was entirely his fault too?
Well, so was the one last year with the Blackhawks.
Oh yeah, that was rough. This one, actually, the injuries looked very similar when they happened.
Yeah, but that's my point. Why is it one player every preseason, at least one, decides that they're going to shove themselves into the boards?
I think.
And break their ankle, their knee, something and their leg.
I think what happened is this was Drew Doughty, a guy who was guaranteed a roster spot, going up against Tanner Pearson for the Knights, who is very much not guaranteed a roster spot as he's in Vegas on a PTO right now. And so, yeah, Dowdy's got a broken ankle probably. He's going to be month to month. So we have to talk about that in a vacuum. The one thing that I really take away from that game, and my friends, and if we have any listeners in Toronto or any listeners that are Leafs fans, I'm going to level with you for a second. And I can't believe I'm about to say this. I feel your pain. I totally feel your pain.
Oh, no, you do. What do you mean?
Sammy, why? Why are you like this? Why can't you control your rebounds, dog? Just stop the puck. That's your only job. Dude, I now understand what you mean when you say he will occasionally make spectacular saves, but there will be times where he just flounders around, loses his posts, and gives up the simple stuff. I'm not a very good goalie. I'm going to go out and say it. I'm not a very good goalie. I could have made a few of those saves that he didn't make.
You're pretty good.
Well, I'm not. Anyway.
I've got footage. You're not NHL level, but I got footage to prove that you're decent.
I get it. It's his first game in the system.
Yes.
And there weren't a lot of NHL defensemen in front of him, and there were even less NHL forwards in front of him.
But when you look worse than Fleury.
Dear God.
When you look worse than Fleury, we need to have a conversation.
The only out that I will give him, is the Kings were basically playing their opening night roster. And we very much weren't. So I'll give him that. I'll give him a moment of pause. And to that I say, show me more. He needs to show me more. I'm not sold on him. Right now,
you're like what I was with Fleury.
Right now, I'll take Akira Schmid over Ilya Samsonov right now. You want to know the difference? The reason I make that rationale? Akira Schmid has actually won a playoff series on his own. Samsonov hasn't. All those years in Toronto, and yeah, I get it. He was around when they finally beat the Lightning in the first round a few years ago. I'm not sold. And Hill looked really good in the game last night when we opened a can of whoop ass on the Utah Hockey Club. I hate this team.
Yeah, it's fine.
I hate this team so much right now. They're so frustrating. There's so much talent and none of it is useful. A guy that I thought was going to be a shoo-in for a roster spot is now being targeted or is now being tapped as our number one asset to trade.
Who was that?
Brendan Brisson. Our only remaining first round pick. And, son of son of super agent Pat Brisson, who's Eichel's agent.
See, this is what I love about this podcast. This is what I love. I get to bait you into these really long tangents or these very, very deeply, hey, you do it to me too. Don't give me that look.
Don't at me like that.
But then it's also interesting because we go at hockey from two very different perspectives. I'm a lot more laid back. This is generally what the team's going to do. And you're very much the, what the fuck, Samsonov? You can't even stop a goal?
Yeah, well, I usually keep it calm, cool, and collected. Usually.
No, you do not.
Usually.
You just get really quiet.
Until you start making simple mistakes. And I'm concerned.
Go back to basics.
Yeah, go back to basics. I'm concerned because they open the season against the Avalanche.
Yeah.
That's a tough opening start.
It is.
And, there were some good moments in the game last night. Yep. Eichel scored.
Yay.
Barbashev scored, which is good. Hanifin scored, which is good. Our fourth line right winger enforcer man scored, which is not normal.
Yay.
And a guy who's probably going to start the year in the AHL scored.
Awesome.
So, brief tangent.
Okay.
I know people who are going to be at the Henderson Silver Knights season opener in Cedar Park Center against the Texas Stars.
Mm-hmm. Are these people you're related to?
Yes.
Got it.
Yes. And it'll be interesting to see people, for them anyway, to see people that they saw on TV last night playing in the AHL in
10 days?
14 days. Exactly a week. In exactly a week. Or exactly 2 weeks.
I'm like, bro, 14 days?
In exactly 2 weeks, they will see these players in Silver Knights jerseys in a suburb of Austin.
Yep.
You know, they will go from the bright lights of the Las Vegas Strip to the monotony of the AHL bus ride.
Yep.
So that'll be really interesting. I won't get to watch it, and I already checked the schedule. They don't come to Des Moines to play the Wild.
They don't?
No, they don't.
Like at all?
This is the first season
Wow.
that they don't. They have every other year.
Because I would say, let's go.
I know.
It's a 4-hour drive. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll check. I don't really. They do go to Milwaukee a couple times though.
Ooh.
But that's a bit of a hike.
Yeah, but
That's
you could
a
go to,
hike.
You could go to Cobb's.
What?
Cobb's.
I don't.
Big ass burgers, really good custard.
What's in Milwaukee?
Yeah.
How far is Milwaukee from here?
Like 4.5, 5 hours, depending on if you have traffic.
That's like driving to Dallas. Yeah, I could go to Grimaldi's. I could finally get some good pizza.
I mean, we could do both.
Yeah, true.
Just eat our way through.
Anyway,
Wisconsin.
we're going to put a pin in that. We may be doing that. We may do a road trip cast at
That'd
some
be
point.
fun.
That would
We
be a
should.
really cool time.
No, we should. That would be so much fun.
All right, we're going to put a pin in that. I'm actively writing it down.
Okay. Anyways, sorry.
Anyway, sorry about that. Back to the point.
Yeah.
I know I said at the top of the segment that my precious Knights are going to go all the way and win the Stanley Cup. And I still stand behind that statement, but it is contingent on a few things.
Okay, what's the contingencies? Let's hear them.
Mark Stone has to play at least 70 games.
So he has to stay healthy.
He has to stay healthy.
Okay.
Eichel has to ascend to what he's supposed to be, which is a elite top line forward.
Which he's like one step away from.
He's got his moments. Tomas Hertl has to be what he was 4 years ago in San Jose, which is a game changer. And what we've seen in the preseason so far is, yeah, he's really good.
I think his trade last year.
It's actually going to be so good.
I think it breathed new life into.
Yeah,
him,
he's no longer on a really crappy team, and he's no longer injured. He had a full summer to rest.
Yep.
Like, he looked slow in the playoffs because he should not have been playing. He should not have been playing last year. He shouldn't have.
So basically, Mark Stone.
Stone needs to be healthy. Eichel and Hertl need to perform.
Okay.
The power play needs to not be below halfway of the league.
Okay.
We have. Would it
top
shock?
16?
Yeah. Would it shock you to find out that despite the massive wealth of talent that the Knights have had over the last 7 seasons, they've never had a top 10 power play? They've never had a top 10 power play.
I think I believe
they've had top 10 penalty kills.
I think I believe that because you said, I think last year we had this conversation about penalty kills versus power plays.
Yep.
And you said that the Knights were really, really good at penalty kills at that point. I don't know if they kept up.
I'm pretty sure when the year they won the Stanley Cup, they either had the best or second best penalty kill in the league. But like the 23rd best power play. The year they won the Stanley Cup, they scored the least amount of power play goals of any team in the playoffs. That includes teams that were knocked out in the first round. So
I think that kind of having this conversation, right?
Yep.
You need to either be good at penalty kills or power plays. You need at least one.
So there's another metric that is a completely made up and totally Writers Guild kind of thing to talk about success on special teams. The goal for every team is to have if you take the percentage for your power play and the percentage for your penalty kill and add them together, if that number is greater than 100, you're doing something right. Mm-hmm. That hasn't happened very much recently.
Well, again, I think a lot of times teams recently, with a few exceptions, focus either on being really, really good defensively, i.e. playing
super shutdown
forwards that are defensive forwards.
Yeah.
Defense is fucking top line, like go all out. Or you have penalty kills where you don't put a lot on defense, or power plays, sorry, not penalty kills. You don't put a lot on defense, but your offense is top notch.
Correct.
It's one or the other.
That's where...
And usually it's defense with decent forwards with an okay goalie.
Yeah.
Or a fantastic goalie, shit defenseman, and good forward, and like great forwards.
And while right now the Knights have the worst penalty kill in the entire preseason, I think we've given up 5 power play goals in 3 games, which isn't great. There's been no changes on the back end, so I'm not going to expect that basically we have all the same defensive forwards and all the same defensive defensemen.
Okay.
So I would imagine that the penalty kill numbers will be roughly the same as last year. But God, the power play has to be better. There was a time last season where every time we get a power play, I would be like, all right, this is my time this is my time to like go grab a snack from the fridge or go take a bathroom break because we're not going to score for 2 minutes.
Oh,
Dude, it has been bleak.
that's rough.
And it's been that way for like 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, I feel like the Wild started putting together
Yeah.
power plays.
Under the new coach. Yeah.
Well, end of last year, I mean, how many times did we get a 3-on-5 and we actually scored?
Yeah, I know. Well, we watched you guys score at least like a third of all your power play goals last year in that one game. Those 10 goals, I think 6 of them were on the power play.
It was ridiculous.
It was so many.
Well, the Canucks kept getting called on.
Yeah, we're going to rehash that game until the end of time. That is one of those where were you when games.
And to think, I invited you to that game and you almost didn't go at one point.
I was always going to. Anyway.
You were like, I asked you if you wanted to go. I'm like, hey, I'm getting these tickets.
Sure.
Do you want to go?
Sure.
And you're like,
Maybe.
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 I'm like, it's against the Canucks.
Maybe.
Yeah, probably. I'll let you know, though. Okay.
Yeah, anyway.
What would have happened if you said no?
I would have been forever pissed at myself. I would have never forgiven myself. It's amazing what happens when I say yes to things.
Well, it's great because now I have an actual designated hockey buddy.
Yippee!
I've had designated hockey buddies in the past.
They're not as fun.
Well, they didn't know anything about hockey. They were just kind of along for the ride, which is fine. I'm totally fine with you coming along for the ride.
Yeah. You say as you're actively sitting in a minefield of my goalie pads. Let me draw up the scene real quick. Because we have no camera setups yet, but we're working on that. You are sitting on the floor of my apartment.
Yes.
Immediately behind you are my very large goalie pants, which our friend Kenny has deemed the opposite of assless chaps, also known as the assed chaps. To your right are my leg pads.
Yeah, I keep looking at them. They're sexy leg pads, man.
They're nice. And then behind you is a pile of knee pads, skates, gloves, and my freshly actually designed helmet. More to come on that on my YouTube channel, by the way. So, you know.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, and who made your skate guards?
Shut up.
You have
you
Wild
made
Night
them.
skate guards
I
because
do.
of
They're
me.
awesome. But anyway.
I needed to make myself a pair of Wild ones.
Yeah, you do, especially before we get into our team practices once you start getting out there on net.
Well, I have my
More
Parks
videos,
and Rec one.
more videos to come on that too in the future. We're plugging. There's a lot of shameless plugs today.
I mean, we have plans.
So many plans.
We have so many plans.
So many plans. But anyway, so each team, how many more preseason games do the Wild have? The Knights have 3 more.
I think we have 3 because it's 6, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we have the Stars on Sunday,
Yeah.
and then we have Blackhawks at home on the 1st,
Yep.
and then we are in Chicago on the 4th.
Yeah.
We should go on a road trip to Chicago and see a game.
Maybe. That'd be a hike.
It's only like 6 hours.
Yep. The Knights.
Sorry, y'all. I'm from the Midwest, so
That's not a short drive. That's 6 hours.
that's only it's like not
Granted,
even half
where
a
I'm
day.
from, I could drive from where I spent the majority of my life to this point. I could drive in any direction for that long and still be in the same state.
I mean,
That's a
Again.
Texas moment right there.
again, I'm like, yeah, I'll drive to Colorado this weekend. It's only 12 hours.
Anyway. Yeah, the Knights finished their. Wow, my God, this is going to be fun.
What?
3 of the next 4 games for the Golden Knights
Yep.
are against the Avalanche.
Really?
In Colorado Tuesday, at home against Colorado on Thursday, Sharks at home as a nice confidence booster next Saturday, and then we open the season at home on the 9th against Colorado. So I'm going to get a lot of the Avalanche over the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm going to get an avalanche of Avalanche, if you will.
I'm looking at the Wild schedule for October. We only have 2 home games
Oh, we have
after the preseason. Including
Yeah.
the preseason, we only have 3.
we have to get off to a good start. You know, I think we can save early season outlooks for the next podcast where we can take some time looking at starred games for each of our teams. Because
I want to go to the Utah one.
you want to see the Utah Hockey Club,
I want to go to Utah at some point.
the team with a PWHL name. Why? Wait, hold on. Last thing before we sign off for this episode. Why are they not called NHL Utah?
Okay, you really want the answer to this?
No. Yes.
No, I'll explain. So it's because the people that bankrolled PWHL technically own all the teams. It's not individual owners.
Yeah.
Utah is an individual owner because the NHL is individual owners.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Yeah, it would have fit into the
because they're not PWHL Minnesota anymore.
No, they're now. Well, I was talking about they were.
Okay.
We got to visit that banner last night. It's going to be a really. I have a major aside to go on that, but I'll save it for next episode.
I wonder if PWHL has released their schedule yet.
I doubt it. I didn't see it when we were at XL.
Well, doesn't mean that they haven't released it though.
True. But anyway, no. There's been so many injuries at the start of this preseason. A lot of people are now going to miss significant time start of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Knights have gotten lucky. We don't have anybody hurt. Wild only have Boldy. And I hope it only stays Boldy. Because if Kaprizov goes down, you'll just have to write off the season.
I hate when people... I get it. He is a key player, but I hate it when people assume that our entire team is Kaprizov.
Realistically, you guys get in trouble when Faber goes down.
Realistically, we get in trouble when we lose 2 defensemen and 2 forwards.
If you lose Spurgeon, Faber, Eck, and Hartman, your season's over.
Well, yeah. I mean, we lost majority of those people last year, but also PWHL schedule is not up yet.
Damn. So close. I mean, they're going to start eventually. They have to start eventually.
I just wish that they would be a little bit more transparent with the schedule. But anyways.
They're slow. They got to secure arena dates. They are still second-class citizens.
So key takeaways. We, or at least I, think the Wild will end up round 2. Now, I also understand that that's a bold prediction.
Yeah,
I think we'll at least get to round 1.
You'll at least make the playoffs after a year off, which was anomalous.
Yep. And then bold prediction from you is the Knights go all the way.
They're going all the way.
If they can address their key issues.
If they can have a better power play and be healthy, there is absolutely nothing that can stop this team from going all the way to the final and maybe winning.
Yeah.
Our coach is literally the epitome of too angry to stop. He's such a good coach. Bruce Cassidy is like a gem. Remind me next time to go on the tangent of how we wound up in Vegas. It'll make you laugh.
Okay.
If you don't know the story, which I don't think you do, because I don't think I've told you the full story.
Yeah.
It is hysterical, and it makes all the more sense.
How long is it?
Probably like 10 minutes.
Okay.
Let's save it for next time.
Okay.
We'll save it. It's a good.
I'll open with that.
It's a good aside to open an episode with because it's kind of funny.
Okay.
And it's also very spiteful by me.
All right, y'all. Well, that's all we got for today.
Yep.
Do not forget to subscribe if you enjoyed this episode.
Check us out on all of our other ventures. We've got my own weird Knights only content that I make, which is cool. We've got some goalie stuff coming up and some stuff about our own little team that we're putting together. We'll have some more info of that to plug here pretty soon. If you want to support our own personal hockey ventures and watch me get scored on 1,000,000 times. But with that being said, thank you guys for lending us your ears for the last 58 minutes. We greatly appreciate you listening to us ramble about our 2 favorite teams and occasionally not ramble about hockey. So, yeah, thank you for listening, and we will catch you guys in the next one.
Bye-bye.